Your commitment to this team is non-existent, Helena Morris snapped, leaning back in her leather chair as if she were doing me a favor by letting me go. My name is Alex Turner. For the last 4 years, I'd been the golden goose at Titan Tech, hauling in millions while my paycheck barely covered rent. 27 years old, and still scouring discount racks for clothes. Still navigating the city in the same 10-year-old Chevy my sister helped me buy. Helena's custom blazer and that Caribbean glow told me everything. I didn't belong in her world. She stared at me, expecting tears or anger. Instead, I simply nodded. I understand, I said. Her perfectly arched eyebrow flickered. Surprise, maybe. You're terminated, effective immediately, she said, voice flat. Pack your things. Jenna from HR will guide you through exit formalities. I rose, crossed the polished oak desk, and offered my hand. She hesitated, then shook it. Thank you for the opportunity, I said. The walk back to my cubicle felt surreal. Colleagues pretending not to watch as I fetched a single cardboard box, a chipped coffee mug, 3 half-dead pens, and the office succulent that somehow survived under flickering fluorescence. 4 years of late nights and early mornings, and everything I owned fit into a box smaller than a microwave. As I approached the elevator, Carlos Vega, my direct manager who'd taken credit for half my deals, peeked out of his glass-walled office without meeting my gaze. He mumbled, "Don't forget your badge," then disappeared. Badge in hand, I stepped into the elevator. The doors closed, and I caught my reflection in the stainless steel walls. I didn't look defeated. I looked lighter, as if I'd just put down a weight I didn't even realize I'd been carrying. I joined Titan Tech straight out of college, a business degree in hand and my dad's advice echoing in my mind. A good salesperson pitches products. A great one solves problems. He spent decades in pharmaceutical sales, missing family dinners to ensure we never worried about money. When I landed this job, he was proud, and for 2 years, I believed in our mission. I'd worked 60-hour weeks learning the ins and outs of industrial robotics. But today, that ended. Over those first 2 years, I forged partnerships with fabricators and assembly plants from Savannah down to Miami. In my rookie season, I was crowned Rising Star, and by year 2 I'd snagged the Top Performer trophy. I felt unstoppable, until I saw Carlos Vega promoted above me, even though my quarterly numbers were double his. He has more leadership experience, they told me, as if I hadn't spent 6 months nurturing the Westbrook account from cold call to signed contract. Small slights piled up. Invites to strategic meetings that never landed in my inbox, crucial client briefs arriving in my inbox a full day late, and offhand remarks like, "Are you confident this is the best fit?" spoken in front of senior leadership. I kept my head down, convinced that results would speak for themselves. Then came the Abbott manufacturing deal, our biggest win of the year at $2.3 million. I flew to Chicago 3 times at my own expense, missed my cousin's birthday, and worked every weekend to finalize the proposal. When the ink dried, Helena Morris celebrated with the team, everyone except me. I learned I'd been excluded only after scrolling through their post-drinks, selfies on social media. Summoning courage, I asked for the raise I'd earned, my 3rd try. "Not the right time," Helena replied, eyes fixed on her notes. "We're restructuring compensation." That very night, I updated my resume for the first time in 4 years. A week later, Simone Patel, once a key contact at Dreyfield who'd since moved to Crestfall Publishing, pinged me on LinkedIn. "Let's reconnect." Over coffee, she confided they were launching a new business development arm and needed someone with real technical sales chops. Me. I borrowed a single vacation day for the interview. One fleeting absence that someone noticed, someone who tipped off Carlos Vega. Yesterday, I sat in my car long after returning my badge, engine idling, staring at the glass tower where I'd poured my life. 4 years of promises, "You're one of us," laid bare as hollow words. My phone buzzed. A sorry from Carlos, citing protocol. I turned it off, drove home, and crawled onto the couch with a cold beer. For the first time in years, I did nothing. No emails, no voicemails, no pitches, just letting the afternoon sun slide across my walls. By evening, I'd 3 missed calls from my folks, a worried text from my sister, and an email from Simone. "Can you come by tomorrow at 10?" I replied yes, then called my dad. "Looks like they did you a favor," he said. "How's that?" I asked. They showed you exactly who they are, he said. No more illusions. He was right. All those mornings I chalked up my exhaustion to dedication. All those late nights I convinced myself I just needed to push harder, network smarter, be more visible. All those times I swallowed my pride because I believed loyalty was a two-way street. But loyalty at Titan Tech was a one-way guarantee, from me to them, never the other way around. I'd been ousted for taking one solitary day, one day I'd earned, to chase an opportunity they refused even to entertain. My mother called as soon as I walked in the door. "What do you need, honey? Should we come down this weekend?" "No," I said, voice firm for the first time all day. "I'm okay. In fact, this might be the best thing that ever happened to me." And I meant it. For the first time in months, I slept without that knot of dread in my stomach. When dawn came, I dressed in my sharpest suit, the one Helena always managed to borrow for her own client meetings, and walked into Crestfall Publishing's lobby feeling 10 feet tall. The interview felt less like an interrogation and more like a reunion of colleagues who'd been rooting for me from the start. References and client testimonials had already cleared every hurdle. Abbott Manufacturing, Ridgeway Fabrications, Southern Steelworks, they all vouched for my integrity and expertise. By noon, Simone Patel offered me the role of Regional Director of Business Development with a package that doubled my old salary and threw an equity in commission. "When can you start?" she asked. "Monday," I replied without hesitation. I spent Friday signing contracts and celebrating with my sister over video chat. Crestfall gave me an office with a door, a window overlooking the city, a team of 3 hungry sales reps, and a promise of autonomy. "Build this division from the ground up," Simone said, eyes alight. "Your vision is why we brought you on." For 2 weeks, it was everything Titan Tech promised but never delivered. Clear expectations, transparent feedback, genuine respect. I even reached out on LinkedIn to former colleagues. Most sent congratulations. A few dropped emoji confetti messages. Carlos Vega and Helena Morris stayed silent, and frankly, I didn't care. Then the cease and desist arrived. "Mr. Turner is in violation of his non-compete," it read, "and must cease employment or face litigation." I'd never signed such an agreement, of that I was certain. Simultaneously panicked and enraged, I called Crestfall's legal team. "Send us everything from your Titan Tech tenure," the attorney said. "We'll sort it." Back home, I combed through 4 years of paperwork. Offer letters, performance reviews, bonus statements, no non-compete in sight. The next morning, I received a scanned PDF with my forged signature, dated 3 years back, inked onto a document Helena had me sign after my Rising Star Award. It banned me from any similar role within 100 miles for a full year. My heart pounded. I never saw it, never signed it. Was this buried in a routine packet? Crestfall's counsel asked. I replayed that day, Helena handing me a stack of papers, flag on each page. "Just standard updates," she'd said. They'd manufactured consent, then weaponized it. Over the next week, Titan Tech lobbed every accusation they could. Theft of client files, breach of confidentiality, even corporate espionage. A client contacted me, worried after Helena called asserting I'd absconded with proprietary data. I forwarded everything to Crestfall's lawyers, hands trembling with disgust. Then, Jessica from accounting, my quiet ally, risked her job to confess Helena had downloaded my entire client folder from the server the day after I left, and then deleted the originals. They weren't just trying to block me, they were trying to bury me. As I sat in my new office staring at the skyline, rage replaced relief. This fight was about more than a job, it was about truth and justice. And for the first time in my life, I was willing to go to war for both. No bonus, no commission. My lawyer's remark hit home. Good. That's something concrete we can investigate. That evening, my phone buzzed with a message from Mark Chin. "We need to talk. Not about the legal stuff. It's important." Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet him at a coffee shop halfway between our offices. Mark looked beaten, deep shadows under his eyes, a rumpled shirt, nothing like the polished persona I knew. "I can't get officially involved," he began quietly. "I could lose everything." I waited in silence. "It's about the non-compete," he continued. "It's not just you. Helena has been doing this for years. She gets us to sign routine paperwork during reviews, then slips in extra pages afterward. The signatures are real, but the documents aren't what we agreed to. Why tell me this? I asked. He looked down. Because you were the first to fight back. They're scared. Scared of what? The commission scheme. Mark took a deep breath. On our original spreadsheet, the percentages are correct. But on our paychecks, lower figures appear. The difference goes into an account called the Executive Bonus Fund. Helena and the senior team have been pocketing that money for years. Memories of sliced bonuses, unexplained percentage cuts, and mysterious adjustments flooded back. How did you discover it? By accident, he admitted. I was retrieving a client file on Helena's computer when I saw two open tabs: gross commission and net commission. The gap led me to an offshore account. Did you confront anyone? I asked. He shrugged. They told me it was standard practice, that I deserved my share. I had bills to pay. I realized the depth of it. They're not just after me, they're setting me up. Exactly. They fabricated a story that you inflated the Abbott contract to earn more commission. Then they accuse you of stealing files to cover up the fraud. A chill ran through me. But I can prove the contract value. Abbott will confirm it. They're already creating a fake trail, backdated emails, revised contracts. Mark looked me in the eye. Want proof? I have screenshots, spreadsheets, email exchanges, bank transfers. Send it, I said. But what if it's just hearsay? He hesitated. By itself, it won't hold. We need someone willing to testify. The screenshots are strong, but they'll claim they're inadmissible without a live witness. I knew he was right. Financial strain, family threats, Mark couldn't risk it. I needed another witness, someone with nothing to lose. Jessica from accounting was too frightened. So I listed everyone who left Titan Tech in the past 2 years, those who quit or were abruptly fired. One name stood out. Derek Caldwell, former top performer in the Eastern region, ousted amid rumors of drinking problems. I never believed the rumors. Derek was a devout church deacon and a devoted father. I messaged him. Derek, we need to talk about Helena Morris and the commission scheme at Titan Tech. It's urgent. He replied within minutes. I've been waiting for this call. The next day, we met in a discreet co-working office. Derek looked weary but alert. They fired me for uncovering the same files Mark showed you. But I took it further. He unveiled an astonishing trove: bank statements, emails, falsified invoices, and evidence of kickbacks from vendors. They inflated project costs and pocketed the difference. Helena and the CFO built the system. Do you have proof? I asked. Everything, he said, pulling out an encrypted flash drive. I was preparing to go to the board until they spread the story about my drinking. They forced me out. I asked why he hadn't gone to the authorities. He lowered his gaze. They made veiled threats about my family, about my wife's nursing job at Memorial Hospital. They said my children might not be welcome at their school. My stomach churned. But I saved it all, Derek continued. And I hope for someone like you, no family to threaten, backed by Crestfall's resources. I held a drive in my hand. Let's use this. Let's expose everything. In that moment, I realized this wasn't just a fight over a contract or compensation. It was a war against a corrupt empire that Helena Morris had helped build. And I was determined to bring it down. No bonus, no commission. My lawyer's observation rang true. Good. That's something concrete we can look into. That evening, my phone buzzed with a text from Mark Shin. We need to talk, not about the legal stuff. It's important. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet him at a coffee shop halfway between our offices. Mark looked haggard, deep circles under his eyes, his shirt rumpled, nothing like the polished persona I knew. I can't officially get involved, he began in a hushed tone. I could lose everything. I waited for him to continue. It's about the non-compete, he said. It's not just you. Helena's been doing this for years. She has us sign routine forms during our reviews, then slips extra pages in afterward. The signatures are real, but the documents aren't the ones we agreed to. Why are you telling me this? I asked. He stared at his coffee. Because you're the first person who fought back. They're scared. Scared of what? The commission scheme, he replied, taking a deep breath. On our original spreadsheets, the percentages are correct. But on our paychecks, they're lower. The difference gets routed into an executive bonus fund that Helena and the senior team have been pocketing for years. Memories of reduced bonuses, unexplained percentage cuts, and mysterious adjustments rushed back. How did you find out? By accident, he admitted. I was retrieving a client file on Helena's computer when I saw two open spreadsheets, gross commission and net commission. The gap led me to an offshore account. Did you confront anyone? He shrugged. They said it was standard practice, that I deserved my share. I had bills to pay. I realized the depth of the betrayal. So they're not just coming after me, they're setting me up. Exactly. They claimed you inflated the Abbott contract to earn a bigger commission and then accused you of stealing files to cover it up. A chill ran through me. I can prove Abbott's contract value. They've already started fabricating a paper trail, backdated emails, revised agreements, Mark said, meeting my gaze. Want proof? I have screenshots, spreadsheets, email threads, bank transfers. Send them to me, I said. But isn't that hearsay? He hesitated. By itself, it won't hold up. We need someone willing to testify. The screenshots are strong, but they'll argue they're inadmissible without a live witness. I knew he was right. Financial pressures, family threats. Mark couldn't risk his career. I needed another witness, someone with nothing to lose. Jessica from accounting was too frightened. So I listed every person who had left Titan Tech in the past 2 years, those who quit or were fired under suspicious circumstances. One name jumped out. Derek Caldwell, former top performer in the Eastern region, ousted amid rumors of alcohol problems. I always knew the rumors were false. Derek was a church deacon and devoted father. I messaged him. Derek, we need to talk about Helena Morris and the commission scheme at Titan Tech. It's urgent. Within minutes, he replied, I've been waiting for this call. The next day, we met in a discreet co-working office. Derek looked worn but resolute. They fired me for discovering the same files Mark showed you. But I dug deeper. He produced a trove of evidence. Bank statements, emails, falsified invoices, and proof of kickbacks from vendors. They inflated project costs and pocketed the difference. Helena and the CFO ran the whole operation. Do you have proof? I asked. Everything, he said, handing me an encrypted flash drive. I was planning to take this to the board, but they spread the story about my drinking and pushed me out. I asked why he hadn't gone to the authorities. He lowered his eyes. They threatened my family, said my wife's nursing job at Memorial Hospital could be at risk, my kids' school too. My stomach turned. But I kept it all, Derek continued. And I was hoping someone like you, without family ties they could exploit, backed by Crestfall's resources, would step up. I held the drive firmly. Let's use this. Let's expose them. In that moment, I realized this wasn't just a battle over contracts or commissions. It was a war against a corrupt empire that Helena Morris had helped build, and I was determined to bring it down.